The story begins not with action, but with a very ordinary day. We first see planet Earth from space, and then the camera slowly shifts toward the United States. The sun rises over New York, and it feels like nothing unusual is about to happen. Just another typical day. But what we don't know is that this day will mark the beginning of a terrifying chain of events, one that will test the survival of an ordinary family and ultimately reveal the fragility of modern civilization. We are introduced to Clay Sanford and his family. Clay is a professor in New York. He teaches at a university, lives a simple life, and is a calm and rational man. He doesn't lose his temper easily and loves his family dearly. His wife, Amanda, is very different. Amanda works in an advertising company, and while she is intelligent and successful, she is also short-tempered, rude to people, suspicious of strangers, and quick to lash out. Their two children are Rose, their younger daughter, a sweet and innocent girl currently obsessed with binge-watching the TV show Friends, until one unusual decision changes their lives. One morning, Clay wakes up to find Amanda already awake. She tells him that when she opened the window earlier, she felt a sudden urge to leave the city. She wanted a break from everything, so without telling him, she booked a house in Long Island for a vacation. She surprises him by saying they'll leave immediately. Clay, although startled, doesn't argue. Amanda knows that if she had asked beforehand, Clay would have probably said no. So now they pack up their things, get the kids ready, and hit the road. The family drives happily through the highways, relieved to escape the stress of city life. Hours later, they arrive at the rental house Amanda booked online. It's a stunning, modern house surrounded by woods, with a private swimming pool. The kids immediately run to the pool with excitement, while Clay unloads the car. Amanda decides to drive to the local market to buy groceries. At the market, Amanda notices something strange. While putting items in her cart, she sees a man purchasing an absurd amount of bottled water, canned food, and survival supplies. It's far too much for any one family. For a moment, Amanda wonders if he's preparing for some kind of disaster. The sight unsettles her, but she brushes it off and returns home. That evening, Clay and Amanda share drinks while the kids enjoy the pool. Amanda, who usually hates Clay smoking, even gives him a pack of cigarettes, telling him he can smoke here as long as it's not in front of the children. It's one of the rare moments where she seems relaxed. The next day, the family goes to the beach. The scene is calm, the ocean wide and blue, until they notice something unusual, a large cargo ship far out at sea. At first, they assume it's just passing by. But after hours, it's still there, getting closer and closer. Rose stares at it nervously, sensing something is wrong. Amanda too grows uneasy. When the ship doesn't change course and keeps approaching the shore, panic begins to spread. People on the beach start screaming and running. The enormous vessel finally crashes into the shallow waters near the beach. No one appears to be in control of it. The authorities later explain it as a navigation malfunction. But this is just the first sign of something deeply wrong. Back at the house, the family discovers the internet is down. The TV shows no channels, only emergency alerts. Their phones are useless. Cut off from the world, they settle for burgers for dinner that night. When the kids go to bed, Clay and Amanda share drinks again, until there is an unexpected knock at the door. In the middle of nowhere, in this isolated home, strangers have arrived. Clay opens the door to find a middle-aged man named George Scott and his daughter Ruth standing outside. They look nervous, almost desperate. George explains that this house actually belongs to him. He knows Amanda's name, claiming she had emailed about renting it, but since she booked through a service, they never spoke directly. George explains that he and his daughter live in the city, but a blackout forced them to leave. He recently had knee surgery and couldn't climb stairs in his apartment, so they came here. He insists they're not trying to take the house away. He says Clay and Amanda are welcome to stay since they paid for it, but he and Ruth need to stay as well. To prove his honesty, he even offers Clay back the $1,000 Amanda paid for the booking. Clay, being reasonable, wants to let them stay, but Amanda explodes with suspicion. She doesn't trust strangers, especially ones showing up in the middle of a blackout. She refuses to allow them inside. Ruth, offended, argues back, insisting it's their home. After some tense discussion, Clay convinces Amanda to at least talk it over privately. He points out that George has a key to the cabinets in the house, suggesting he really does own it. Amanda argues that the lack of family photos makes the story suspicious. But eventually Clay persuades her. They let George and Ruth stay in the basement. Later that night, Ruth switches on the TV, which suddenly shows emergency broadcasts on every channel. The reality is undeniable now. Something catastrophic is happening nationwide. The next morning, Rose wakes Amanda, complaining that she can't finish watching Friends because the internet is gone. Amanda checks her phone and notices strange news alerts flash for a second before vanishing. When she tries to show Clay, they disappear. George, who works in cybersecurity, tries to calm everyone down. He compares it to a past computer virus that once cost companies millions, but was eventually contained. He insists that maybe it's just a technical glitch. But Amanda isn't convinced. The presence of two strangers in her house only increases her paranoia. Meanwhile, odd things keep happening. Rose sees a massive herd of deer gathered silently in the woods, hundreds of them staring at her. Animals don't normally behave this way. Clay goes into town but finds GPS navigation malfunctioning. On his way, he meets a terrified Spanish-speaking woman who claims she hasn't seen another human for 2 days. Her words, untranslated in the film but understood later, hint at mass confusion and isolation. Meanwhile, George explores a neighbor's abandoned home and finds a satellite phone. But strangely, even the satellite phone doesn't work. In space, we briefly see an American satellite shift off its orbit. Something bigger is happening, something affecting even space technology. Then, George witnesses something terrifying at the beach, a plane crash. The wreckage scatters across the shoreline, bodies everywhere. Soon after, another plane flies overhead and crashes into the sea as well, sending a huge wave toward George. He survives, drenched and horrified, but tells his daughter nothing, lying that he fell into the pool. That night, the family hears a deafening sound wave, an ear-piercing blast that forces them to cover their ears in pain. Archie complains afterward that his ears feel strange. George speculates it might be some kind of sonic weapon. Amanda, furious and terrified, demands answers. George finally admits that he suspects America is under attack. He recalls a contractor named Danny, who had built the house and was known for hoarding survival supplies. If anyone knows what's going on, it might be him. Meanwhile, more signs of collapse emerge. Amanda and Clay attempt to drive back to the city, but on the highway, they find dozens of Tesla cars crashed into each other. All of them had been in autopilot mode, now malfunctioning. It blocks the road completely. With no way forward, they return to the house. Amanda and George share a tense but revealing conversation. George recalls a high-profile client connected to Pentagon projects who once hinted at impending dangers. He realizes now the warning was real. Later, in an emotional moment, Amanda hugs George, giving him strength to endure. Meanwhile, Ruth smokes with Clay by the pool, discussing the chaos. She senses that her father is hiding the true extent of the danger. Suddenly, flocks of flamingos appear, circling the pool, another bizarre event hinting at nature itself going haywire. Soon after, another powerful sonic blast shakes the house. The family, terrified, piles into one bed for comfort, while Ruth clings to her father. The next morning, things grow worse. Archie wakes up vomiting, and to everyone's shock, his teeth begin falling out. The strange sound waves seem to be causing direct biological effects. The situation is spiraling out of control. With Archie's condition worsening, George suggests visiting Danny, the survivalist contractor, who may have supplies or medicine. Clay and George set out with Archie. Meanwhile, Amanda and Ruth search the nearby woods for Rose, who has wandered off. What they find in the forest will reveal just how far humanity has fallen into chaos. The story picks up as Harry, Ron, and Hermione return to Hogwarts after their encounter with the Dementors on the train. The entire school is buzzing with news about Sirius Black's escape. Everyone whispers that he's after Harry, which makes the castle feel darker and more dangerous than before. At the welcoming feast, Dumbledore reminds the students to stay safe and avoid any contact with Sirius Black. He also introduces the new defense against the dark arts teacher, Professor Remus Lupin. Unlike previous professors, Lupin looks kind, worn out, and a bit shabby, but there's a warmth in his eyes that instantly makes the trio like him. Classes begin. Professor Trelawney teaches divination, filling the students' heads with predictions of doom. She even looks into Harry's cup of tea leaves and claims she sees the Grim, a giant spectral black dog said to be an omen of death. Harry laughs it off, but the thought lingers in his mind. Hagrid, now the Care of Magical Creatures teacher, introduces the class to a majestic hippogriff named Buckbeak. The creature has the body of a horse, but the wings and head of a giant eagle. Harry bravely approaches Buckbeak, bows respectfully, and manages to fly on its back across the lake. The students cheer, But things go wrong when Draco Malfoy insults Buckbeak, and the hippogriff lashes out, injuring him. Malfoy exaggerates the injury, and soon Buckbeak's life is put in danger by an unfair trial. Hagrid is heartbroken, and Harry, Ron, and Hermione promise to help. Meanwhile, Professor Lupin proves to be the best defense teacher Hogwarts has had. He teaches the students how to fight boggarts, creatures that turn into one's greatest fear. When it's Harry's turn, the boggart transforms into a Dementor, making Lupin quickly intervene. Later, he personally teaches Harry how to defend himself using the Patronus Charm, a spell that summons a powerful protective guardian made of light. The days pass, and Sirius Black somehow manages to enter the castle despite all the guards. One night, he even slashes a painting of the Fat Lady while trying to get into Gryffindor Tower. The tension rises, and Dementors are placed around the school. During a Quidditch match, the Dementors attack Harry in the air, causing him to fall from his broom. He's saved but wakes up in the hospital wing shaken and humiliated. His broomstick is destroyed. Lupin comforts him and encourages him to keep practicing the Patronus spell. Eventually, Harry sneaks into Hogsmeade using a magical map, the Marauder's Map, gifted by Fred and George Weasley. The map shows every person inside Hogwarts in real time. While in Hogsmeade, Harry overhears professors talking about Sirius Black. To his shock, he learns that Sirius was once his parents' best friend, and is believed to have betrayed them to Voldemort. This revelation shakes Harry's world. Later, tension builds as Hermione slaps Draco for mocking Hagrid, and Ron's pet rat Scabbers goes missing, believed to be killed by Hermione's cat, Crookshanks. Ron and Hermione fight bitterly over it. Straining their friendship, that AS exams approach, things spiral further. Buckbeak is sentenced to death. The trio is devastated, but decides to stand by Hagrid during the execution. That night, while visiting him, they notice Ron's rat Scabbers is actually alive. But before they can react, a massive black dog bursts out, drags Ron into a tunnel under the Whomping Willow, and disappears. Harry and Hermione follow, determined to save him. Inside the tunnel, they discover the dog is actually Sirius Black in his animagus form. Lupin arrives, and instead of attacking Sirius, he hugs him. The truth is finally revealed. Sirius did not betray Harry's parents. The real traitor is Peter Pettigrew, who has been hiding in disguise as Ron's pet rat Scabbers for years. The shocking truth stuns Harry, Ron, and Hermione. Pettigrew begs for mercy, but Sirius and Lupin want justice. Harry, however, stops them from killing Pettigrew, saying his father wouldn't have wanted it. Instead, they plan to take him back to the castle alive. But things go terribly wrong. As the full moon rises, Lupin transforms into a werewolf, having forgotten his wolfsbane potion. Pettigrew escapes in the chaos. Harry, Hermione, and Sirius are cornered by Dementors near the lake. Just when it seems Harry will be consumed, he sees a powerful Patronus drive them away. At first, he believes it was his father's spirit, but later he realizes it was actually himself. After using a time turner with Hermione to go back in time and save Sirius, they free Buckbeak from execution and use him to help Sirius escape. In the end, Sirius is still a wanted man, but Harry gains hope knowing he has family who truly loves him. He receives a letter from Sirius, giving him permission to visit Hogsmeade legally, and a feeling of belonging he's never had before. The school year ends, and Harry, Ron, and Hermione leave Hogwarts with stronger bonds, having uncovered dark truths, faced betrayal, and learned the value of trust and friendship.